In the darkness between stars and the cold void where no light reaches, there exists a tale older than memory itself. It is a story of hope and hubris, of sacrifice and ambition, of a being who would reshape humanity's destiny across 1,000,000 worlds. This is the story of the Emperor of Mankind. Close your eyes and let us journey back, far back, to a time when Earth itself was young and humanity had yet to dream of the stars, the birth of immortality. Picture, if you will, ancient Anatolia, not the Turkey you might know, but a land of bronze and stone, where tribes gather around fires and speak in tongues long forgotten. The year is somewhere around 8,000 BC, though such measurements mean little now. In this age, humanity is fragile, scattered, vulnerable. In a settlement whose name has been lost to time, shamans gather. These are not the charlatans of later ages, but true psychers, humans touched by the warp, that realm of souls and nightmares that exist beneath reality. They have seen something terrible in their visions. The warp is changing. Predators are forming within it, entities that would one day be called demons. Humanity, with its growing psychic potential, is becoming prey. These shamans know they must act. They possess wisdom accumulated over lifetimes, for they are perpetual, capable of reincarnation, their souls returning again and again to mortal flesh. But they also know this gift is failing. The warp grows too turbulent. Soon, their souls will be devoured rather than reborn, and so they make a choice that will echo through 40 millennia. One by one, they gather in circle. One by one, they drink poison. One by one, their bodies fall. But their souls do not scatter. Instead, with intention and will, they merge. Thousands of psychic essences, each ancient and powerful, combine into a single point of brilliant, terrible consciousness. One soul, one being, one purpose. A child is born, or perhaps reborn. The details are unclear, lost in the mists of prehistory. But what is certain is this: humanity's guardian has entered the world. He has no name, not yet. Names are for those who wish to be remembered individually, and he has transcended such needs. He is the culmination of countless lives, and he will walk among humanity for 8,000 years before they even know his face. The hidden years. Imagine the patience this requires. 8 millennia, 80 centuries of watching, waiting, guiding from the shadows. He moves through history like a ghost, never staying in one place too long, never revealing his true nature. In Sumeria, he might be a wise advisor to a king. In Egypt, an architect whose designs will outlast empires. In Rome, perhaps a senator speaking of unity and strength. In Constantinople, a scholar preserving knowledge, always teaching, always steering humanity toward stability, toward progress, toward survival. He cannot save everyone. He cannot prevent every war, every famine, every tragedy. To reveal himself would invite destruction, both from humanity's fear and from the predators in the warp who would sense such a beacon of psychic might. So he works in subtle ways, planting seeds of ideas, guiding the occasional genius, preventing only the most catastrophic disasters. He watches as humanity rises and falls, learns and forgets, builds and destroys. He sees civilizations bloom like flowers and wither just as quickly, and always he is patient, because he knows something that no other human understands. Humanity has potential beyond imagining. He can see it there in their genetic code, in the evolution of their souls. Humanity is becoming a psychic species. In 10,000 years, perhaps 20, they will undergo a transformation, become beings of both flesh and mind, transcending their current limitations. It will be glorious if they survive long enough to reach it. But survival is far from certain. The age of technology. Time flows onward. Centuries become millennia. And humanity does something unexpected. They reach the stars. The age of technology begins, and it is magnificent. Humans spread across the galaxy like seeds on the wind, colonizing thousands of worlds, building wonders that would seem like magic to their ancestors. They create standard template constructs, databases containing all the knowledge needed to build civilization from scratch on any world. They develop ships that can traverse the warp, making journeys between stars not in generations, but in weeks or days. And through it all, the Emperor watches. He sees humanity flourishing, sees them growing strong. Perhaps, finally, they are ready for what comes next. Perhaps they can navigate the perils ahead with wisdom and unity. But deep in the warp, something is stirring. The psychic awakening he has foreseen is beginning, but too early. Thousands of years too early. Psychers are emerging among the human population, but without the evolutionary maturity to control their gifts. They become doorways, portals through which warp entities can reach into reality. And humanity, in its technological arrogance, does not understand the danger until it's far too late. The Age of Strife begins not with a bang, but with a whisper. A psyker here, possessed by something hungry. A colony there, torn apart by entities that shouldn't exist. Slowly at first, then faster, the galaxy begins to burn. Warp storms erupt across space like boils on reality's skin. These are not mere weather phenomena. They are tears in the fabric between dimensions, zones with material universe, and the warp blend into nightmare. Ships entering the warp to travel between stars simply disappear, or they arrive at their destination centuries late or millennia early, or change in ways that make death seem merciful. Terra, Earth, is cut off from her colonies. Every human world becomes an island unto itself, alone in the dark, and the Emperor knows that his time of hiding is ending, the moment of emergence. The Age of Strife lasts for 5,000 years. 5 millennia of darkness, of regression, of humanity tearing itself apart. On some worlds, civilization collapses entirely, returning to barbarism. On others, tyrants rise, wielding technology they barely understand. Psychers go mad with horrifying frequency, each one a potential bomb that could detonate an entire city, an entire world, into demonic apocalypse. And on Terra, humanity has fallen furthest of all. The cradle of mankind has become a charnel house. The planet is carved up into hundreds of warring factions, techno-barbarian tribes led by warlords with ancient weapons and no mercy. Radioactive wastelands glow in the dark. Hive cities tower over polluted oceans. The vast majority of humans live and die never seeing the sun, never knowing peace, never dreaming that their species once touched the stars. This is the world the Emperor decides to change. He emerges from the shadows in the 30th millennium, appearing in the last stronghold of sanity left on Terra, a technocracy hidden in the Himalayan mountains. He does not ask for leadership. He simply takes it. And those who see him understand immediately that he is something beyond human, something that commands obedience at a level deeper than conscious thought. He calls himself the Emperor now, not out of ego but out of necessity. Humanity needs a symbol, an ideal made flesh. They need someone who can unite them, who can embody the strength and wisdom they have forgotten. Names of mere men would not suffice. He must be more than a man. He must be an emperor, and his first war begins. But before we speak of war, let us understand his vision, because everything that follows, every battle, every sacrifice, every triumph and tragedy of the Imperium, stems from this singular purpose. The Emperor looks at humanity and sees a species on the brink of extinction, not immediately, perhaps, but inevitably. The warp is anathema to human civilization. As long as humanity remains divided, scattered across unreachable worlds, they will be prey. Prey to demons, prey to Xenos, prey to their own worst instincts. But if they could be united, if humanity could stand as one, under one banner, one vision, one truth, then they might survive. More than survive, they could transcend. They could complete their psychic evolution under controlled conditions, guided by his wisdom, protected by his power. They could become a species of peace and enlightenment, no longer threatened by the predators of the warp. This is a great work. This is the goal toward which he has labored for 10,000 years. And it begins not with diplomacy or preaching, but with the sword, because humanity, fractured and desperate, will not unite willingly. The warlords of Terra, the tyrants of the scattered colonies, the alien empires that have claimed human worlds, none will surrender their power peacefully. They must be defeated, brought to heel, forced into unity for their own salvation. It is a vision both hopeful and terrible, a dream of utopia built on a foundation of necessary conquest. And the Emperor, having walked through human history for 80 centuries, knows that this is the only way. Humanity has never chosen peace when violence remained an option. He will give them no option. The Unification Wars of Terra are about to begin, and they will be only the first step. And so, with his power finally revealed, with ancient technologies unearthed in gene science beyond imagining at his command, the Emperor begins the most ambitious project in human history, not just to save Terra, but to reclaim the galaxy itself. But that is a tale for another few moments of rest. For now, let this image settle in your mind. A golden figure striding from the Himalayan peaks, lightning in his eyes, and behind him, the embryonic dream of a united humanity. Though that is a story for another tea.